If you don't own at least 0.01 Bitcoin, this might haunt you for the rest of your life. Because one day people won't talk about how much Bitcoin they own, they'll talk about how early they were to own just a fraction of it. And 0.01 Bitcoin, that might be the last affordable ticket to true wealth before Bitcoin becomes completely out of the reach for most people on Earth. Not because the price goes to the moon overnight, but because the world is changing fast. And Bitcoin is no longer just for tech geeks and crypto bros, it's being swallowed up by billionaires, BlackRock, pension funds, and even governments. So here is what I'm going to show you in this video. Why owning just 0.01 BTC could put you ahead of 99% of the world. 2. The real math behind how rare that amount will be. And 3. Why the next 2 to 3 years might be your final window to grab it before it's gone forever. Let's get into it. Let's break it down. There are 21 million Bitcoin total, not per year, not per country, forever. Now let's compare that to the global population. There are 8 billion people on Earth. If Bitcoin was divided equally between everyone alive, each person would get just 0.002625 BTC, not even 3 million Satoshis. So if you own 0.01 BTC, you're already holding 4x more than your fair share. And that's before we subtract all the Bitcoin that's lost forever, estimated over 3 million coins, held by institutions like MicroStrategy, BlackRock, and now even countries, or locked up by long-term diamond hands, ETFs, OG whales who aren't willing to sell. And don't forget, there are 56 million millionaires on Earth. So what happens when they all decide they just want 1 Bitcoin each? They can't. It's mathematically impossible. Even if they just wanted 0.1 BTC each, it still doesn't work. But here is the kicker. Most people today still don't even own 0.01 BTC. The vast majority of Bitcoin wallets hold less than that. And yet it's the amount that could make the difference between staying in the rat race or owning a piece of the next global financial system. So let's zoom out and talk about where we are in the big picture. Every major technological shift follows an S-curve of adoption. Early adapters, early majority, late majority, and then laggards. Bitcoin, we are now transitioning from early adopters to an early majority right now. Don't believe it? Just look around. BlackRock has a spot Bitcoin ETF. Banks like JP Morgan and Fidelity are very involved. Politicians are publicly backing it. El Salvador made legal tender and institutions are buying it stronger than ever, even during bear markets. But here is the thing. The average person is still asleep. Retail interest is still ridiculously low. Google searches for Bitcoin are nowhere near the 2021 levels. Your co-workers and neighbors aren't stacking. They're still watching Netflix and complaining about inflation. This is the window, because once retail wakes up and real demand floods in, the price doesn't just go up slowly. It explodes fast and forever changes the landscape. That's when 0.01 BTC becomes a luxury. That's when people will start saying, damn, I could have bought that much back in 2025 for the cost of a weekend trip in Miami. But they didn't. You still can, if Bitcoin becomes the global base layer. Let's now talk about what 0.01 BTC might actually mean in the future. Right now, Bitcoin's market cap is around $2 trillion. That's a lot, but compared to other global assets, it's nothing. Let's compare it to global real estate, which is around $400 trillion, global bonds, 150 trillion, stock markets, 100 trillion, gold, 20 plus trillion, and derivatives, quadrillions. Bitcoin, not even 1% of all global wealth. So what happens if Bitcoin captures just a piece of this? If it matches gold, Bitcoin could go to $1 million. Same if it takes 5% of real estate. That's over $1 million per BTC. If it becomes the monetary base layer for sovereign nations and corporations, then the upside is exponential. Even if Bitcoin hits a modest $500,000 long term, 0.01 BTC is $5,000 then. At $1 million, that's $10,000. We can apply that same logic. At 5 million per coin, 0.01 BTC is $50,000. You'll be surprised how fast that kind of change can happen. Because Bitcoin doesn't move linearly. It moves in a violent, sudden waves. And by the time you see it on the news, it's already too late. Okay, let's get brutally honest. This might be your last realistic chance to buy 0.01 BTC before it becomes permanently out for reach for average people. Why? Because this time it's different. Institutions are buying with size. Governments are mining and storing it. And most importantly, the supply is locked. Demand is exploding, but the average person is still waiting for a dip, chasing altcoins, scared of volatility, or still calling it a scam. And that's fine, because Bitcoin doesn't care what people believe. It only rewards those who act before the rest of the world catches up. Imagine being offered 1% of Amazon stock in 1999, or the first few blocks of Manhattan real estate. That's what 0.01 BTC is. A small fractional bet with massive upside in a world that's still asleep. But it won't be available forever. So what can you do right now? Here's your step-by-step playbook. 1. Calculate the target. At today's price, 0.01 BTC is around $1,000. That's achievable for most of the people with focus. Step 2. Dollar cost average. Set up a reoccurring buy, weekly or monthly. Even $20 a week will get you there in under a year. Step 3. Cut waste, stack sets, skip takeouts, cancel unused subscriptions. Sell clutter you don't need. Park that money straight into Bitcoin. This isn't about YOLOing an investment. It's about disciplined accumulation. Step 4. Learn self-custody. Once you hit 0.01 BTC, take it off exchanges. Get a hardware wallet like Ledger or Trezor, or maybe in the future there'll be a different wallet, because if you don't control the keys, it's not really yours. Step 5. Think in sats, not dollars. 0.01 BTC is 1 million sats. Stacking sats shifts your mindset. It's not about timing the market. It's about stacking while you still can. Because once Bitcoin moves, it moves fast and violently. Now, let's be clear. Bitcoin isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a don't get left behind protocol. What we are seeing isn't hype anymore. It's history repeating. The fiat system is inflating and cracking. Central banks are drowning in debt. Currencies are losing purchasing power every year. And people are finally waking up to the idea of hard money. Bitcoin is the hardest money ever invented. If it wins, even modestly, owning 0.01 BTC could be the best financial decision of your life. You don't need a full Bitcoin. You don't need to trade. You don't need to be rich now. You just need conviction, consistency, and an ability to act before the crowd. Because in 10 years, you'll either be glad you owned even a tiny slice, or be the person telling others, yeah, I remember when it was around $1,000 today, but I didn't buy. So here's the takeaway. 0.01 BTC may not sound much, but it could change everything. It's the entry ticket to a system built on math, not manipulation. Scarcity, not printing. Freedom, not control. And right now, it's still affordable. But that won't last forever. Because history shows when change comes, it comes suddenly. You won't get a second warning.